Hello, Stephanie with Working Yarns. I had a request from a student asking how to create a ball of yarn when you encounter something like this, a hank. Depending on where you're shopping for yarn, you might have yarn that comes in balls already ready to go. But a lot of smaller yarn companies or finer yarns will come in a hank. And you do not want to knit directly from a hank. You want this to be in a nice ball that you can work from. If you're in the store, they will often have a Swift available for you to use, along with a ball winder. Sometimes they will have you use it yourself. Sometimes they have assistance. Sometimes they charge a fee for ball winding. But you'll get a nice cake like this one. However, you can wind a really nice center pull ball like this from a hank of yarn. Now this hank of yarn is just 50 grams. This was a 100-gram ball of yarn, but they will work just the same. I had seen it suggested the first time that I had to do this, I had seen it suggested that you use the backs of chairs. I did not have chairs at that time. I had a settee in my extremely small Bay Area living room, and you know, I had in my 1-bedroom apartment over in my bedroom some pillows, and I had a couple throw pillows on my settee. And so I'm going to show you how to do this with pillows, either a single standard pillow off of your bed or a couple of throw pillows like I have here. But yeah, we'll take a look at how to manage this and what you get when you unwind, when you pop this open. And you want to keep everything nice and apart. But what you get when you pop this open is this. If you ever accidentally pop one of these open at the yarn store and you want to wind it back yourself, you're just going to give this a nice tight twist, and then pop one loop through the other and just kind of finagle this back around. There we go. Let's have a look. This particular hank has 2 points where they have secured the yarn, and we are just going to start by wrapping this around like this. You want to try to keep it as straight as possible. And then we are going to go ahead and give this little snip. And this that side looks like it's where our yarn is going to be pulled from. Okay. All right. So I've got a little bit here. I'm going to just show you how I do this. So I'm going to start like this. And I'm going to just wrap the yarn around my fingers. Some people have a special tool that they use for this. Some people use a cardboard tube, like one from a roll of toilet paper or paper towels. I just use my fingers. And see how I'm wrapping diagonally around. Okay, and then I shift it and I keep wrapping. I'm gonna loosen some of this up. I enjoy creating center pull balls of yarn with my hands. I like that I get to have a feel for the texture of the yarn before I've started working with it. So I do not own a ball winder. I do own the Swift that you saw because I wrap a lot of these and it just makes it a little bit easier to do. It doesn't really get stuck so much. But once I've got about this much, I go ahead and, so this is something that can happen. It can catch a little bit. And that's okay. You just want to keep everything in its proper place so you don't get too tangled. Okay. But when I've got about this much on my fingers, I go ahead and I switch to my thumb. And it'll be a little loose to start, but you'll feel everything inside just sort of relax. And we don't want to wind this too tight. You don't want anything to get stuck in the middle and come out and explode as you're pulling out your center pull. But just kind of gently wrap around. And you just want to make sure that your little center pull bit doesn't get stuck. There are, I'm sure, plenty of other ways and methods out there. This is just the one that I used for over a decade. And you can see there's like little bits of fluff in here. I mean, this is kind of what I'm talking about with getting to know the yarn that you're working with. As you're going along, you might also encounter breaks in the yarn where there's been a knot tied that joined bits of the spun yarn together. And doing this can help you know what to expect along the way. I find that I pay more attention to the fibers when I'm winding by hand versus using a ball winder. And if you're going to be winding balls of yarn at home, you know, this is a great thing to maybe train your significant other or a child or a roommate on, you know, put them to work, especially if you've got a sweaters quantity. You've got multiple balls that you're winding up. Get others involved. Have them help you. But yeah, you can see it's starting to take form. And you just kind of keep going on like that, and eventually you have an entire ball of yarn ready for you to work from. You can either work from the center, or you can tuck your center pull away and work from the outside of the yarn instead. Also, if you are making something, let's say you have 100-gram ball of yarn and you're working on a project that increases in the first half and decreases in the second half. If you have a kitchen scale around, I would then go ahead and weigh out the first half of your yarn minus like 1 or 2 grams, and then do a second ball, and then you'll have your beginning and end set out, and you can just join the 2 yarns if you don't want to accidentally miss your decrease point. Just a thought. Or if you buy extra large skeins that have 150 or more grams, you can put those in various size balls. But yeah, there you go. That's how to wind a center pull ball of yarn with no equipment.